Don't sleep on this Milwaukee Bucks team. This is a team that went out and added a ton of depth pieces, and while they don't have the star power that they've had in the recent years with Damian Lillard and Giannis, they still have the second best player in the league, and they still have a ton of depth. And then they added Miles Turner, who's going to be amazing in that front court with Giannis. And people will call me crazy for saying I like this Bucks team, but they've got the second best player in the world, and yeah, I'm only giving Jokic higher than Giannis. I don't care if Shea just won the MVP. Giannis is still that dude. He's coming off a year averaging 30 points, 12 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.2 blocks, and a steal, while being probably the most dominant player in the league. One of the most dominant players we've seen since like Shaquille O'Neal when it comes to just brute force and physicality. Of course, there's LeBron James, but you know what I'm saying. 60% shooting from the field last year as well. He is one of the most efficient players in the league on top of one of being the best. And he was even showing out at the Eurobasket this year, where for Greece, he suited up, averaged 27, about 11, 4 assists, 2 stocks in 29 minutes while shooting 68% from the field. A ridiculously good percentage for a guy like Giannis, who is obviously getting double and triple teamed, especially in Eurobasket, but it just does not matter. I mean, we're talking about a 6'11 freak of nature with a 7'3" wingspan that coming down the lane, nobody wants to step in front of him. You make a business decision if you're Isaiah Stewart right here. You get out of the way instead of getting put on a poster. But Stewart tries to get in the way, and he gets put through the rim. That's what happens. That's the consequences of your actions. 33 points a game, 16 rebounds, and 6.5 assists. Those were his numbers last year in the playoffs. Just absolutely ridiculous, trying to carry that Bucks squad single-handedly. Now, of course, they lost to the Pacers, but they bring over Miles Turner. So kind of, a good end of that deal there. Miles comes over on a 4-year, $110 million deal. The front court of Giannis and Miles Turner should be fun, but essentially they send out Damian Lillard to bring in Miles Turner. That's what they had to do, and they did it. Miles last year averaged 15.6 points, 6.5 rebounds, 1.8 assists, and 0.8 steals to go with 2 blocks per game while shooting 48% from the field and 40% from 3 on 5.5 attempts per night. He is one of the premier stretch bigs in the league, right? Good rim protector as well. And like I said, this front court is going to go so filthy together because of Miles' ability to stretch the floor for Giannis. But then defensively, they're both fantastic, with Miles being able to protect the rim, Giannis being able to do the same. He's pretty much Brook Lopez on steroids. And Brook Lopez helped them win a NBA championship just a couple of years ago. Now, taking a look at the offseason moves, they had big-time decisions to make about all these guys, including Brook Lopez, who we just mentioned, but guys like Jericho Sims, Gary Trent Jr., Ryan Rollins, and Taurean Prince. Brook Lopez, who at 37 years old, it was clearly time for him to go. 13 points a game, 5 boards, 2 assists, and 2 blocks in 32 minutes. He shot 51% from the field and 37% from 3 on 5 attempts per game last year. But he's a guy that it was clear once he got to the playoffs, he was a slow-footed big. It was time for him to go. In the playoffs, he averaged 5 points, 1.6 rebounds, and a block in 15 minutes a night while shooting 36% from the field and 27% from 3. Not good whatsoever, and he is officially gone out the door. But they do bring back Kevin Porter Jr. And I love this addition right here, coming back with KPJ on a 2-year, $10.5 million contract. That is beautiful right there. Bringing in a guy of KPJ's stature, who is going to be their starting point guard without a doubt, to come in and be the guy here in Milwaukee, and giving him freedom to be able to cook in the open court, right? He averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3.7 assists in 20 minutes a game last year. His per 36s are through the roof, and he shot the best efficiency of his career. Look out for a big-time Kevin Porter Jr. year this year. I'm buying all the stock I can. They bring back Gary Trent Jr. as well, who was a monster in the playoffs. In the regular season, he averaged about 11 points a game, 2.3 rebounds, 1.2 assists, and a steal while playing in about 25 minutes a game, but they had a lot of wings, so Gary Trent Jr. didn't get the minutes he probably should have, but he shot 43% from the field and 41% from 3, and come playoff time, he was ready for his moment, and man, did he make the most of it. In the playoffs this year versus the Pacers, he averaged 18.8 points, 2.6 rebounds, and 2.2 assists in 35 minutes a game, while shooting 52% from the field and 50% from 3 on 9 attempts. They bring him back on a 2-year, $9 million deal, one of which will be very, very nice for the Bucks. That's fantastic value. And looking at the projected lineup for Milwaukee next year, it's still quite good with Kevin Porter Jr., Gary Trent Jr., Kyle Kuzma, Giannis, and then Miles Turner, who we've been talking about. Kuz is a hooper, right? People just don't want to admit it, and I might get flamed in the comment section for saying that. But Jericho Sims at 27 years old is a great re-signing. Bringing him in over Brook Lopez, he quite clearly outplayed Brook last year at the end of those playoffs, where we looked at Brook's stats earlier from the playoffs. Now looking at Jericho, he averaged about 3 points and 4 rebounds and half a block in 10 minutes. So per 36, actually some pretty solid minutes. And this is all the upside you get with Sims right here, right? Switching on to Dante Exum and being able to guard out on the perimeter, hand everywhere, hands active, getting to Exum's body and being able to stop him and then going up and meeting him at the apex and getting the rejection. They bring him back on a really cheap deal, which is very team friendly and really nice for the Bucks. They got to get these team friendly deals because of course they're paying Dame like $20 million a year for the next few years. Ryan Rollins, another guy here who is coming back on a cheap deal. He last year averaged about 6.2 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 0.8 steals in 16 minutes. But when Dame went out, he was a guy that was able to fill in, and he did very good. He was a so-so defender and kind of got dropped out of the rotation towards the playoffs once Dame came back, and then once Dame got hurt again, he was back in. 49% shooting from the field, 41% from 3 for him last year, and over his last 13 games of the season, he averaged 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists in 25 minutes. Those were, of course, the non-Dame games, while shooting 53% from the field and 48% from 3 on 3 attempts. They bring him back on a cheap deal, like I mentioned, which is really nice to have for the program, and just another 3-and-D guard to have behind a guy like Kevin Porter Jr. He could be a fantastic backup. Taurean Prince also comes back in at about 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan. He's a big dude as well. Averaged about 8.2 points a game, 3.6 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal last year in 27 minutes per game. He also shot 46% from the field and 44% from 3, which was a huge thing there because he did lead the league in 3-point percentage for quite some time. Now they also have him on a 2-year, $7 million deal, so that should be a really, really solid contract. And then finally, the last couple of guys we got to talk about are their free agent additions. Gary Harris comes in from Orlando on a 2-year, $8 million deal, and he hasn't had really a role at all in Orlando over the past couple of years. They've kind of given way to the younger generation. But a couple of years ago, he did average 7 points and close to 2 rebounds and assists on 44% shooting from the field and 37% from 3 on 4 attempts. So that is a good sign. Can contribute off the bench here and obviously going to have a much bigger role. Just a veteran that has proven playoff experience as well as just experience in general. And then Cole Anthony can come in. And I think this is the reason they haven't gone out and signed a guy like Russell Westbrook yet, because they trust their guard depth with guys like Cole Anthony, who comes in on a 1-year, $2.2 million deal after getting bought out by the Memphis Grizzlies. He averaged 9.4 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists in 18 minutes a game last year, while shooting 42% from the field and 35% from 3 on 3.3 attempts per game. Really solid year from Cole Anthony overall. They also, of course, have Tyler Smith, and I really hope they don't give up on Tyler Smith. I am a Tyler Smith truther, but this is what their bench could be looking like with Cole Anthony. Of course, AJ Green, who we haven't talked about, absolute sniper, and then fan favorite Bobby Portis to go with Taurean Prince and Jericho Sims. Then you still have Harris and Rollins off the bench, as well as maybe like a Tyler Smith or somebody. But with that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below and that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. With that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video.